Love birds? An app you don't want to miss. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology is Alli Smith. Hi, Alli.
Hey, Fred, it's great to be here.
Well, Alli, tell us a bit about the lab there before we get into the app a little.
Yeah, the Cornell Lab of Ornithology is based in Ithaca, New York, but we do work all around the world. Most of what we do here is based on citizen science. So anybody in the world, just like you, can go out and help us learn about birds through many, many different ways. You could use Merlin to learn about the birds in your own backyard. You can submit your bird settings to eBird, or you can participate in other citizen science projects like Nest Watch or Feeder Watch.
And that app that you mentioned is called Merlin. You are the project coordinator, so give us the overview.
Yeah, so Merlin is a free app for your phone or your tablet. It works on Android and iOS devices, and it is a free field guide to any bird anywhere in the world. I think the most powerful part about it is that it's not like other field guide apps out there where, you can just download all of the birds of a whole region or something. But Merlin is a little bit more specific than that. It uses your location. So right now it knows I'm in Ithaca, New York, and it checks with eBird, that big citizen science database that I mentioned earlier, which has over 1 billion bird sightings gathered from around the world. So it checks with eBird to figure out what birds are most likely in the area immediately around you within a couple miles, and then gives you that much more narrow list of birds that you could possibly be seeing, which is really helpful because here in North America, there's over 700 species that we could be seeing. So having that narrowed down to a much shorter list is very, very helpful, especially if you're a beginner or just getting started out. And then there's a couple different ID tools within Merlin. So if you see a bird, there's a few different ways you could identify it within Merlin. You can answer a couple questions about it. Merlin will ask you the location and the date that you saw the bird, and then how big was it, what color was it, and what was it doing? And from there, it'll give you a list of what birds you could be looking at. The newer and I think more exciting parts about it are the photo ID and sound ID. So photo ID, you just take a picture of the bird and it'll tell you what it is. And sound ID is exactly what it sounds like. You just go outside and be quiet and open up the app on your phone and turn on the microphone, and it'll listen to the birds that are around you and identify what it hears.
Yeah, they pop up on the screen, the different birds that it hears. It's going out to the cloud to do that, I assume?
It's all happening right within your phone. So the model that's identifying the birds is a convolutional neural network, type of machine learning model that it's actually a pretty tiny file. It's stored within your phone, and all of the recordings that you make, all the sightings that you gather through Merlin, they all stay on your phone until you intentionally submit them to us.
Which would mean that if you're in a remote location and you don't have a connection, this will still work?
It will, yep.
Really cool. And then you have the ability to create a digital scrapbook for yourself. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so something that birders just generally like to do is keep a life list of all of the different birds that they've seen throughout their lifetime, or even just in a certain area. Maybe you're going on a trip somewhere. Maybe you're going down to Costa Rica and you want to keep track of the birds you see. Or maybe you just want to track all the different birds that you've seen throughout your entire life. And Merlin and eBird both let you do that through the same feature. So when you're in Merlin, if you see a cardinal, and sound ID tells you saw a cardinal, and you are able to look at it and you say, oh yeah, that's totally a cardinal. It's a bright red bird in a bush. You can save that sighting to your life list in Merlin. So you just hit save that. This is my bird, or save my bird. And you just need to submit the location and date you saw it in, and it'll add it to your life list, but you can go back and scroll through to see when you've seen all the birds in the past.
And the app is free?
It's totally free.
Really cool, but people can support the work that goes on there, right? Tell me
Yes.
about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Merlin is made possible because of donations from birders around the world. And we're super, super thankful for everybody that's helped us build this so far.
So tell us more about how you got into this and your attraction to what you're doing.
Yeah, I've been birding for over half my life now, which is kind of wild to think about. But I started birding in middle school when my science teacher took us all on a field trip down to New Jersey, to the Delaware Bay in New Jersey, where we were from. And we got to go out and see horseshoe crabs that were coming up onto the beach in May and laying their eggs. And then the next day we got to go back and we got to see all of these shorebirds, like red knots, like this, I have a little decoy of one right here, like this guy right here. We got to see red knots and other shorebirds coming and eating these eggs. And we learned all about how these birds are flying from the southern tip of South America all the way to the Arctic. And they're stopping in New Jersey because they need to eat horseshoe crab eggs to fuel their journey. And something about that really stuck with me. They're still my favorite bird, and I've been totally hooked. And just like learning that the red knot and all these other like really thousands of birds around the world are in decline. That's really upsetting to me, and it makes me want to do something about it. So I've been kind of working in the bird world for the last maybe 6 years or so, doing different jobs, like working as a biologist in different places. And throughout all the jobs that I've done, I've found that working with people is one of my favorite things. Like it's, we could do all the science we want, but unless we have the support of people all around the world to help us do this, we're not going to be able to save birds as effectively. So I love Merlin and working for Merlin because I get to help people all around the world learn about birds every single day.
It's interesting. During the pandemic, I was hearing anecdotally that more and more people are spending time feeding birds or bird watching in their yards. Is there any evidence that bird watching has grown?
Yes, there is. And if we're just looking at Merlin, we did see right at the start of the pandemic when everybody was kind of stuck indoors and wanting to get outside, we saw a huge spike in the number of Merlin users. And then that doubled over the next year. So we had in like June of last year, we had about 1.5 million people using Merlin each month. And then this past summer, we've more than doubled that again. So we're seeing like increased growth year after year with Merlin. This past June and July, we had our peak number of users, which makes sense. That's when in North America, birds are the loudest, and I think people are the most outdoors. But we had about 3.5 million people using Merlin each month in June and July. And just this year in total, we've had 9 million people around the world use Merlin.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that. There are also some bird cams that you have on the website, right?
Yeah, those are run by others here at the Cornell Lab. They're very, very fun if you are interested in learning about birds in other parts of the world. There's some really cool cameras set up in different locations that are managed by us. There's a really cool one in Panama at a bird feeder down there at a lodge. And another one, now that it's winter, I'm really excited about all the winter finches up in Canada that are coming down that are really colorful. But there's a bunch of different feeder cameras that you could watch.
Just terrific. And for more info, where's the best place to go?
The best place to go to learn about Merlin is merlin.allaboutbirds.org. And actually allaboutbirds.org is a great place to go, no matter what. Yeah.
Terrific. Alli Smith, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.